Welcome to the Deep Purple Press Conference. We're broadcasting the very first international press conference live all over the U.S. and Canada, and in Europe, Australia, and Japan. In the studio with us are Deep Purple members Roger Glover, Ian Paice, Ian Gillan, and John Lord. And we'll be talking with them about the group's new album, Perfect Strangers, and their plans to tour. This is a momentous reunion in rock, and members of the press from all over the world are here to cover the event. So, let's get started.
Actually, we're not a heavy metal band. We're more sort of country and western compared to heavy metal. Actually, no, I don't know why we got back together. I don't think it was for any overt musical reason. It was the musical reason came from within us. Whatever we did, I think none of us actually knew what chemistry was that provided us with the music and the success that we had. Any heavy metal revival that I've heard has been going on for about the last 10 years anyway. There's always a revival going on. And I don't think we've paid any attention to current things any more now than we did before.
How much of the old stuff will we see on the tour?
About 60% of the show, I should think. We're doing about 5 or 6 tracks from the new album. And we're going to be doing stuff like Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, Child in Time, Space Trucking, Black Knight, those things. And it's lazy, yeah. It's wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Deep Purple are about to launch a world tour, but it won't bring them to Canada until the spring of 1985. Nor will there be a video until December. However, a new album has just been released, and I asked the lads what they're writing about these days and how it fits into the contemporary scene.
I don't write lyrics totally well. I've tried and failed. I think Ian's lyrics, along with Roger, who always had an enormous input with Ian on lyrics, I think they're very vital, very enjoyable lyrics. And there is, for example, a song at the moment by Culture Club, which is called The War Song, which revels in the chorus that war is stupid and people are stupid. There is a song on the new Deep Purple album called Under the Gun, which says 55 million times more about the stupidity and futility of war than Boy George and his papering will ever say in that one crass sentence. End of lecture.
Well, in the broadest terms, and I think a lot of people would be surprised and hopefully delighted that you did get back together, but why? I mean, you've been together in different sort of small configurations, but all 5 of you never together all at once. Did you not like each other for a long time, or were you not compatible, or why?
No, it wasn't that at all. I think what we were doing in the intervening years, I think, was all of us trying to achieve what we had already achieved at Deep Purple. There was not that much of a bad feeling when we split up. I think everyone was pretty tired.
Oh, yes, there was.
Yeah, all right. But I mean, it wasn't enduring. It wasn't sort of thing. As I say, time's a great healer. We have been very friendly over the last few years. I think it was when the time came that none of us actually could find anything else to do. We thought, well, why not now?
Yeah. I was just wondering, if there was some kind of story that you could relate if you happened to all meet at the London Palladium by accident or something and got drunk together.
We came to New York, and as John says, after loads of phone calls, No, we came to Connecticut actually, and
Where do you live?
where Roger and Ritchie live. Yeah, Ritchie's just out of shot at the moment. For those of you,
It just fell over.
Hanging out. Just over there.
and
There we go.
If I
it
may
was
say
it
this,
was very obvious.
because you're the one that actually made all the calls initially.
And to whom?
Well, to everyone. And after we told him to piss off,
Run away.
call him back. And
Persistence.
so we actually decided after about a year of this to get together around the table and talk about it. It's the first time all five of us have been together in 11 years. And that in itself was kind of a
Momentous
strange
occasion.
feeling.
Did you have any misgivings about it? Were you
From the moment we
doubtful?
sat down, there was
Well,
none.
no, I
Everyone
did.
did. Roger had his own misgivings. I think we all had sort of various wonders in our minds about how it was going to turn out.
I had no misgivings after the first time we played together. I went into the initial meeting about a 50-50. I came out of it 75. And then when we decided to have a blow, a jam, after about 10 minutes of that, I was 100% for it. Because I thought what we were doing had some relevance. It wasn't just a nostalgic flash in the pan, round the world tour, make a million, forget it. It had to be more than that. For all of us, actually. It had to be for the music, and the music was of paramount importance. And it wasn't until we actually played together that became apparent.
We actually, throughout the whole summer when we were rehearsing and recording, didn't once play any of the old songs. It was completely fresh. I mean, I was...
Very difficult.
Was that a rule you laid down?
No, it wasn't.
You laid
It was one of my rules.
Yeah,
You
but-
didn't know about it.
It just happened that way.
Pretty much.
In fact, we've done 2 weeks of rehearsals and we still haven't played that track yet. We still haven't relearned Smoke on the Water yet. We probably will.
We refused to play Smoke at
Well, the problem is because we all think it's in different keys. I'm convinced it's in G, and Ian is not.
I'm not.
You're not what?
In any key.
Ah.
At least a couple of you have composed or dabbled in the classical mold of a kind, or at least done things that were more lush or elaborate. I was wondering if the new album would betray any of that, or whether it was going to be very straightforward, hard-edged.
There was no
Any
preconception to this album. We didn't actually sit down at that meeting in Connecticut and say what kind of album we're going to make. We just decided to make an album in the same way that we made albums in the first place, which was really go in the studio and whatever happens, happens. It's fairly spontaneous, and there was certainly no preconception about making it a kind of classical album or an echo of the past. Or, as a matter of fact, it would have been very easy for us to be overcome by the feeling of what was expected of us and be a bit overawed by it. I don't think we were at all. As a matter of fact, we were extremely underawed by it. And we were kind of flippant and whatever, and we had a lot of fun, and we were basically very lazy, and the album was really absolutely rubbish.
We are joined by John Lord and Ian Gillan from Deep Purple here to mark the release of this LP, Perfect Strangers, which has been a long time coming, although there's been numerous rumours for many years that Deep Purple were going to reform. Ian, I was reading last night in Pete Frame's book, A Rock Family Trees, that when you first joined Deep Purple, you were on the princely sum of £25 a week.
20.
20. Has it improved since then, your
Not
recent
a lot.
rejoining?
No.
Now, come on.
No, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think the the money's gone up, you know, but it's a funny old business. You get about 3 good years out of every 10, and I think you have to grab every penny while you can, so that you can base your decisions really on ones of artistic integrity, rather than basically having to grab a dollar in order to survive. You know?
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of talk for a while that, John, that there wasn't enough money around to get Deep Purple back together again. That lineup of Deep Purple.
Yeah, I heard that. Let me put it this way, all I ever heard over the years intervening between the final breakup of Purple then and now was offers of huge amounts of money for us to form the band and go around the world touring with a large bag in which we would presumably put dollar bills and then scuttle home again.
Is that what you've had then?
No.
An enormous amount of money?
No.
Yeah, loads.
Well, he got more than me then.
Is that why you've reformed Deep Purple then?
No, I answered that question before. That's a really... I mean, this country,
what
people like
contribution have you
those
got to
kind
make,
of questions in this country always arise. Everyone's concerned about how much money you're earning and everything else.
Not necessarily. I'm asking you really, why are you reforming Deep Purple in 1984?
No, you didn't. You said, how much money are we getting?
Well, I'm asking you if that's possibly a reason.
Well, it's obviously not a reason, because we've resisted the temptations for lots of barrel loads of money for many years now.
Yeah.
The time was right, that's all. It's just that everyone had just left their own particular circumstances, and we were ready. It was a good time to do it.
Is it as good as the old Deep Purple?
I think it's better. It's got more fun. He's working my strings, sorry. Get off. It's more fun, it's more... there seems to be more reason for doing it. Before it was just like a treadmill. It went on and on, and it went on and on. And we never had a holiday or a break. And this time we're doing it with much more enjoyment. It's great. I couldn't be happier.
Skilehrern machen sich Keyboarder John Lord und Sänger Ian Gillan
This wasn't an everyday concert last night. This wasn't a family concert. I think it could be said that this was a who's who of the criminal fraternity in Auckland, of gang members, of people who were there for very different reasons other than enjoying a pop concert.
What do you think brings them there, these alleged criminals?
I think this was a reminiscence of the heavy rock scene that we knew of some 10 to 15 years ago. These are adults, they're physically strong and very active people.
I'm not saying everything should be banned at Western Springs. I mean, lots of things. The Kenny Rogers concert was super. No problem at all. Simon and Garfunkel and that. But these hard rock concerts that attract this Yahoo element, it's not on.
I just wish the guys in the uniforms would go out and let us get on with our music. It's getting beyond the joke, you know, we're causing no trouble here.
There isn't such a wide band of appreciation as there used to be 10 years ago. If you're a heavy metal fan and go and see Iron Maiden one week, and you happen to want to see Adamant next week, you'd have to go in disguise because it's really uncool. Whereas 10 years ago, you could go and see Jethro Tull one week and quite happily see Mark Bolan a couple of weeks later, and it would still be accepted as part of the same broad spectrum of rock. Whereas now it's not at all. I mean, I can't think of a clearer parallel between Mark Bolan and Adamant, and yet it's conceived in a different world altogether now.
For the most part, I think the whole tour has been far more successful than we ever dreamed of. It's been absolutely fantastic. And true to form, the critics, for the most part, have destroyed us. I've read some great quotes.
Can you give some examples?
Oh yeah, the typical old men, want to go and see Deep Purple and see 5 old men make fools of themselves. That kind of quote.
It's very difficult to tell one band from another at the moment in the heavy metal mould. I mean, so I actually can't see any difference at all. It's all like they've all picked up on one facet of what we and a couple of other bands started.
The gothic image, the magic,
and they haven't gone anywhere else, have they? They haven't seen the fuller, picture.
It's very blinkered.
In a way, that to answer your original question, it could be an indictment on us really, but I don't think it is. I think it's an indictment on what happened throughout the last 10 years. And we've taken no
That's what I said. It's not our responsibility.
No, it's not our fault, man.
You didn't just say it quite as well, did you?
We didn't do it.
I tried to say something then, and I forgot what it was.
We wrote a couple of pages,
but we didn't write the chat. And,
bloody profound.
It's not profound at all. It's just a poetic way of putting something, which is what I'm terrific at.
You
Knebworth House in Hertfordshire has, in its time, played host to some of Britain's leading literary figures, but on Saturday it reverberated to the sound of heavy metal.
Despite the rain, which had reduced the grounds of 15th century Knebworth House to a mud bath, about 75,000 people turned up. On stage, Meatloaf from America, showing few signs that he'd broken his leg falling off stage in Australia 2 weeks ago. The Knebworth pop festivals of the 70s were famous. Licensing difficulties followed a 4-hour overrun one year. The Stones were found still playing at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, after a 5-year gap and with a new promoter, Knebworth was back, with the recently reformed Deep Purple as the main attraction.
Knebworth was famous in the mid-70s, and Deep Purple were also very big in the mid-70s and broke up in the mid-70s, so it seemed logical when they reformed to put the two back together.
So who are the audience? Are they the sort of people who used to go and see them in the mid-70s, or is this a new generation?
No, we've got both, and we've actually got both.
Despite the other attractions, most people were waiting for Deep Purple, a supergroup of the early 70s who split up in 74 and reformed earlier this year, promising to be every bit as good.
You don't feel a slightly rude question, you don't feel a bit old for all this, do you?
No, I am after all only 76, and I figured that I could go on well into my 10th decade.
So, a historic moment in rock music, Deep Purple playing live in Britain for the first time in 11 years. It got even wetter and even colder as the evening went on. Neither the stars nor the thousands in the audience seemed the least bit concerned.
Oh, great stuff, Kim. Do you ever go to those sort of things?
Well, can't you tell from the gear? Of course. No, actually, I stay clear of that sort of thing.
Headlining the Texas Jam was Deep Purple, and this concert was the last of their 1985 world tour that started with their reunion last October. Their Perfect Strangers album has gone platinum in Canada and the US.
I think nostalgia is great, but as long as you don't start earning too much money off it, that's when it becomes a little tacky. Which is why I prefer not to think of ourselves as an oldies band, or an old band. Yeah. We're a now band. We're musicians living, breathing, and working and making music right now, and that's very important to us.
spoke in New York, you were absolutely adamant about not making a concept video.
Never made one.
Bloody well did.
No, we didn't. All we did, we played on stage and we let other people do things around us.
Concept video, I think, implies us getting dressed up in gladiators' outfits and taking chariots around the country.
There were scenes which looked like a sort of an apocalyptic world of some kind.
Knocking at your back door.
Yeah, we didn't do anything, you see. They clicked a button on the tape machine and you saw a picture of us.
Yes.
Now, if somebody wants to build a video thing around a tune, then do it. But I mean, so I don't see us as actors and getting into like a completely scripted 4 or 5 minute video. I just don't. That's not us.
That's right. It doesn't sit well on our shoulders. Really degrading to see first-rate musicians be third-rate actors.
She was a dancer, but none of us would chance her because she was a samurai. She made electric shadows beyond our fingertips, but none of us could reach that high. She came on like a teaser, I had to touch and squeeze her, enjoy a little paradise. The lock was in my pocket when Lucy made the rocket. The reason why smile on her face. Oh, it's not the kill, it's the thrill of the chase. Yeah. Feel it coming, it's knocking at your door.
The very least we could do is hear something from the Perps. Top band of 1985, top live act of 1985, with the top keyboard player, the top singist, and the personality of the year contained therein, knocking at your back door. Ah, well, it will be handy if we played it at the right speed. I thought that was a 12-inch single. Well, it's a 12-inch 33 1/3 single. These damned Yanks.